Welcome to SpotLight. It's the podcast that lifts the curtain on life here at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. I'm Scott.
And I'm Tonia.
And today we're joined by a guest from the Grand Theatre. It's Karl Steele.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Welcome, Karl.
Thank you.
So, Karl, you are our head of programming here at the Grand, which is a very all-encompassing job because the programme itself is so varied, it's so busy, and so exciting for the year ahead. But before we get on to that, let's just talk about you and the path that led you to the Grand.
To the Grand, okay.
Yeah.
Used to come here all the time. This is probably where I saw most theatre. This is where I fell in love with musical theatre, definitely.
Wow.
And actually started off working in corporate, in retail. So had a lot of experience working for Theo Fafetis.
Yeah.
That was one of the Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
So I learnt a lot of commercial and business sense, which was great, but always produced theatre on the side. So that was always my passion, and then this was paying the bills.
Yeah.
But then, over the years, got a chance to direct and produce a lot of theatre. Was given an opportunity to run the old joint stock in Birmingham, which is Birmingham's Fringe Theatre. Very small space, intimate theatre, 100-seater. Just went from there, ran that venue for 6 years. Then I moved to Cambridge, and I built and launched a new studio theatre there in the centre. Did 3 years COVID years there, which are the same as dog years.
Yeah.
So 21 years. And then, wanted to move on, and this opportunity came up.
And now you're here.
Here we are.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So Karl, you are head of programming, like Scott said, and that sounds amazing. But for those people who don't know what head of programming consists of, or what is head of programming? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
So I look after the creative programming at Wolverhampton Grand. So we choose the shows, we negotiate the deals with the producers, we work with booking agents to pick the shows that we want to be known for and which form our artistic programme.
Brilliant.
We also obviously produce as well. Panto was ours last year. So the role includes a bit of that as well. Overall deciding with Adrian what is the artistic direction of the Grand Theatre and how does our programme reflect that.
Brilliant.
And a lot of people always ask me, because when you say you work at the Grand Theatre, a lot of people go, so what shows are on and where do you get them from? Like, they don't understand where a show comes from. And obviously some of the shows that we'll have on have come from the West End, but then some of the shows have come from international and then people ask me all the time, do we approach them? Do they approach us? So just talk a little bit more about what actually happens when we have maybe picked a show and how we manage to get it. Do we have to fight against other people to get it? How does it happen?
A bit of all of that, so often we'll get approached by a producer that we've worked with a lot over the years, that a show that has been out on tour before and is doing the rounds again and would like to stop at Wolverhampton. Should always stop at Wolverhampton. And then it's we know that show goes out. We know we've seen the quality of it. We've got a relationship with them, so it's just a case of figuring out how the deal works so that it makes business sense for everybody. Sometimes we'll see a show and we'll want it.
Yeah.
And we'll go after it because it's in line with our artistic vision for the theatre. So if we're looking to develop a particular audience demographic, or if we're looking to feature new work, or an audience maybe that we don't have at the moment, investing in our new audience coming through. So, we have an audience for the future. We'll go after shows. Some shows are maybe at a smaller or mid-scale.
Yeah.
And they have a possibility of being grown into bigger shows. A bit of all those things. I think a lot of it is having a love of theatre, first of all. If you're not creatively loving theatre, you shouldn't be doing programming. You've got to love what you do, and you've got to be able to spot what you think people will love in theatre as well, I think.
What's exciting though, Karl, is that you obviously love theatre, so you get to see lots of theatre. If you're programming, you get to see lots. So tell us a little bit about what what we've got in store for 2024. Like
2024.
what's coming up that we can get excited about, or what are you excited about?
I'm excited about. I think 2024's programme really has a good mixed bag in there. I think we've got your big hitter classics that everyone will recognise. Like Jamie, who's in this week. Everybody's talking about Jamie's in this week.
Is everybody talking about
Jamie? Are we all talking about Jamie?
Are we all talking about Jamie? Yeah.
Good. But then we've got some brand new musicals which perhaps haven't hit mainstream. We've got a company coming in performing Unfortunate, which is the untold story of Ursula the Sea, which now everyone knows The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Everyone knows that had a little Disney film revamp last year. But what this company do is flip that story and tell it from Ursula's side as the heroine, and basically the mermaid, Ariel, is not looked at so positively.
So it's like Wicked, in a sense. It's a sort of look at the villain of the piece, and
I mean, it's definitely not meant for the same audience as Wicked.
Yeah, okay.
What do you mean by that, Carl?
Wicked, I would take my 7-year-old niece to see.
Yes.
Unfortunate, definitely not. I'd even wonder whether my 17-year-old niece should go to it. It's very adult. It's a musical parody. It's derived from it grew in Fringe, so it's come from a Fringe company that were doing parodies of musicals, and they're a bit filthy, but really clever humour, and really clever way at looking at the writing of mainstream musicals and going, hang on, let's look at this story from the other side. Is there another story to tell that represents a younger demographic coming through theatre? So taking that, like Wicked does with The Wizard of Oz, and for that generation 20 years ago, Wicked, wasn't it?
20 years ago? That's crazy.
That brought a whole new audience.
Yeah, so this will.
Yeah, I think so. It's a different way of communicating with an established musical theatre audience.
We should definitely watch that.
Yeah, we should.
It's my top tip. 24's top tip.
Oh.
And then there's some, we've got some international dance coming through, Sao Paulo Dance Company through the Dance Consortium. So I think the Grand has previously had a reputation for delivering ballet and classical dance to a really high standard and grown an audience, but we're bringing through contemporary dance as well so that we can invest in that next.
And let's talk about that, because we say we have the ballet companies, and last year we were so lucky to have, say, Matthew Bourne, really big ballet companies, and our dance sort of offering here is really on the map. But then this year we've joined Dance Consortium, which maybe people will have heard of, maybe if they might not have, but even if they have, they might not understand what it is. So tell us, what is Dance Consortium, and what will that relationship allow us as a theatre to offer?
It's a massive opportunity for us. And we're really privileged to be a part of this. It's a consortium of 18 theatres, I think now, with us, across the country, who their sole purpose is to bring international contemporary dance to the UK. And to make sure it's getting to areas of the UK that usually wouldn't be able to access it. This company that's coming is Brazil's finest dance company.
What's the company called?
Sao Paulo Dance Company.
Sao Paulo. Oh my gosh.
That was with my Midlands accent.
Sao Paulo.
But so they are coming for a UK and Ireland tour. But dancers from South America would never usually get the chance to tour the UK. So the Dance Consortium opens up that door to be able to get us to see international dance. But we do it together. It's theatres working cooperatively to be able to make that make sense.
Brilliant.
It's our first year, so we have got to build this audience, which is really exciting, really daunting as well. But we're using our other Dance Consortium members to help us do that. But that's a big opportunity, I think, for Wolverhampton to see this level of international dance at their local theatre.
Gosh, I mean, when I was a youngster, something like that, for me, I'd be like, what? I'd really devour that.
Yeah.
So do you think this would be great for young people to come and explore?
Well, they offer more than just the performances as well, which is great. So part of what the consortium does is they have this whole wraparound educational stuff which comes in for the 3 days that they're here. Brilliant. So on the Saturday of those performances in March, it's March,
15th and 16th,
Thank you. They have workshops for local dance school kids, 14 plus. So on the Saturday, they've got a 2-hour workshop with some of the dancers and the choreographer. Then we've got a chance for 5 industry professionals from the Midlands to work with that company as they're doing their warm-up on the afternoon of a performance.
Wish I could dance again. Wish I could. I would be flinging up my legs. Oh my gosh.
The chance to work with that.
Work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. And to harness the technique that they bring from Brazil, this Brazilian essence to contemporary dance. They use a skill and a choreographer that probably we don't see every day in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good opportunity for them to take that, go to their dance schools, let that filter through into the dance that they choreograph. And that's an amazing opportunity. And I think just before the performance as well, anyone that's got a ticket for that show is able to come to an open rehearsal for an hour, which is completely free.
That's
it's
so
part of your
good.
ticket price. You can sit and watch this company working and preparing for their performance. And
this is so good because everything. I need to see that as well. So this, like, literally, the list is just getting bigger. But we need to go to all of these. Yeah, this is great. This is great, Carl.
That's good. I'm doing my job okay.
You're doing a brilliant job. So tell us a little bit about. So we've got you said that really keen on audience development, and you're looking at that. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in particular to bring in different types of audiences.
So we've got a really good audience and development department, haven't we, Tonia?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but if I look straight down the camera, then I'm part of them. Sorry, go back to Carl.
We work really closely with our ambassadors here and the audience and development department within the Grand to look at the productions that feature subject matter and performers for people that are underrepresented in theatre generally. So we've got a few productions lined up. Wonder Boy in October, which was a Bristol Old Vic production in 2001. It was just as we came out of COVID. It's really unique.
Yes.
You've seen it, haven't you?
Yes.
It's
but I'm that's another one. How did you know? There's a pattern here. There's a pattern. Yes. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have no money left. I'm coming. Yeah.
But it's really unique in its both its representation within the cast and the stories that it's telling, but also with its access.
Yeah.
It has integrated captioning, creative captioning, they call it, where it's part of the production. I think often people's experience of access performances is someone doing BSL interpretation.
It's like an add-on. They do. Yeah. It's like an add-on. It's not like as in, like you said, part of.
Yeah, and this is integrated really well, and the subject matter covers a young guy at school who has a stammer, and his learning capabilities being different to everyone else's. And that's here for a weekend in October, and I think there's a lot of people out there with autism, ADHD, and different learning capabilities that I think would really benefit from seeing themselves represented on stage in a positive way.
Definitely.
Throughout the programme, obviously we want to make sure that we've got a diverse programme so that there's something in there that everybody can say, that's for me.
That's for me, yeah.
And those maybe that they wouldn't think is, they think, okay, I'd like to learn about that.
Yeah.
We had a really successful fun night last week.
Yeah.
With we had a Motown and Soul night called Rendezvous, which we worked on together.
We had to make it a night to remember. Get ready. I wish I could sing and dance. Oh,
you can dance. I've got videos.
You can dance.
I can dance. You're right about that. Don't tell everybody, Bab.
But that was a project with our Black African Caribbean ambassadors, which was great. Local performers, local musicians, all from the Wolverhampton and surrounding areas. And I don't think I've heard an audience like that in the Grand yet.
It was just on fire.
It was incredible.
And then we had a special guest, our very own Beverly Knight.
Oh, Queen Beverly.
Queen Beverly Knight stepped onto the stage and just blessed us. Oh, wasn't it great?
It was great. Yeah, it was a great night. But I think when I looked out on the audience that night, the mix of people in that room that were sharing that experience together really represented why we work together. It was really a successful achievement for all of us, I think. And we'd like to do more of making sure that theatre is available to everybody and appealing to everybody.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, we talked to a young guy who works here. He was just talking about walking past the theatre and what it meant to him to work here. Zach, he's a member here, and he was talking about how much it meant to him. So you're 100% right. This is a theatre for everyone, and it's really important.
And you really feel at home here. There are so many people who work here who are from Wolverhampton, but then so many people who aren't from Wolverhampton. I mean, I live in Birmingham, but I always think of Wolverhampton as home. Where are you from? Often I'll say Wolverhampton before I say where I'm actually from, because it feels so much like home and family. And I know people say that, but actually it's true here. And I think a lot of that stems from, like you say, from the programming. Everyone comes and feels welcome here.
Well, hopefully when people look at our program and jump on our website and go through that, they are recognizing that we're programming something for everybody. That's what we try to do.
Karl, I just wanted to ask you, so you've just told us a little bit about 2024. In your role, how far ahead do you have to program? I mean, it's interesting when I've been having chats with you, but it'd be really great to share that process, because I don't think people really grasp that.
This was a shock to me as well. So programming and running fringe venues before, I worked on maybe a 6-month maximum lead time. Here I've just booked a show for May 2025. You have to think a lot further in advance, and obviously big musicals, big plays that go out have a lot of prep behind them. They need quite a long time to sell a week of 1,200 seats. Often we're working quite far in advance, and then for other shows, Michael McIntyre will call and say he wants 3 nights and he can have them next week if he wants.
Why is that?
Because he'll sell them really quickly. And I think that's, the diversity of the programme represents all sorts of types of theatre. We've got stand-ups that can sell out very quickly, and he's a completely different audience. Our panto goes on sale 13 months before and sells really well the year before.
Wow.
It's obviously it's horses for courses, I guess. But on the whole, for most of our big shows, we're working about a year in advance.
Wow.
And talking of panto, part of your role is the panto as well. You were heavily involved in last year's production of Snow White, from the casting, and then already this year you're working on Beauty and the Beast. So tell us a little bit about how your job is involved in the panto as well.
So programming, as you can imagine, during November, December goes a little bit quiet because everyone's working on panto. But I get involved in the production side. For Snow White, I cast the ensemble, who were the best ensemble any theatre has ever had in ever record period. They were wonderful. They were ice skating. They were puppeteers. They did live vocals, no click tracks for them, tap dancing. Just thought they were wonderful, and
there was a lot that they had to do then.
And a really quite a tough job to cast.
Wow.
But we couldn't have found a better ensemble. They were brilliant, and so I was involved in a lot of the coaching of that, physically getting that on the stage during the tech and rehearsal weeks. But it was a big learning curve for me. Productions I'm used to being a part of usually have a budget like this. And this was suddenly very big scale, quite scary, in a massive auditorium with 3 beautiful tiers. Learnt so much last year from being a part of Snow White, and what a wonderful experience it was.
Did you have any moments where you were like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Every day apart from the last performance.
But then when you watched it, you must have been really proud.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think everybody in the building was. It's a massive machine that goes into making a panto successful.
It was amazing, though.
There's hundreds of people behind it.
I've never
and
seen a panto like that.
No,
It was-
it's a 5-star, wasn't it?
It was.
Just get that in there. 5 stars.
Multi 5-star.
5 stars.
But it's, when you get to the, as you know, as a director, you get to the performance week and everybody appreciates that element that's on the stage.
Yeah.
But there is 13, 14 months work gone into it. I think you in the marketing department were art working this year's panto.
Back in the summer,
Yeah.
And we already know that this summer we're going to be working on the panto for 2025, 2026.
Oh,
So,
gosh, it's a lot.
it's so far ahead.
But every single person in this building is involved in delivering panto.
Yes.
And that's what I think I loved most about it. It's,
Yes, we're
seeing
all a
that through
part of
the
it,
year.
and that's the joy of being. We are, known for being a receiving house,
Yes.
and receiving these shows in from the West End, from Brazil, from wherever. But now we're
drop that in
also
Brazil.
making, now we're making a name as a producing house as well. And panto is probably the biggest thing we produce, but there's so many other things, rendezvous, and there's so
Yes.
many things in the pipeline that we're going to be producing. It's
Yeah.
an exciting time.
It really
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So just what just to sum up, what you do and your love. Just tell us like a little bit about what you are really excited about for the future within your role here. And just your future and in general. Well, you can tell us you can tell us your personal life as well.
It's probably best I don't go there.
We'll keep it to the theatre.
I think the Grand in its journey of how many years is it? 129 years. It's its 130th year this year.
This year,
Which-
we'll celebrate that during the panto season.
Oh
this
my
Yeah.
goodness! It's 130 this year.
year.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. So I think it's in its life journey. I think it's a really exciting time to be part of the Grand, whether you're working here or whether you're going to be an audience member here, because there's going to be a lot coming over the next 12 months that will change what we're known for, that will diversify what we're known for, and will just make things bigger and exciting, and lots of different representations of different types of theatre being seen under this roof.
Oh.
I wish we could say right now, but maybe we'll have to do that.
Do you have to keep a lot of things under?
podcast.
Yeah, do you have to keep things undercover?
Yeah, it's
before?
so frustrating.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes, and sometimes you just don't answer because you can't say.
So is there anything that you could dish out? Like any secrets? Anything that's about to pop?
Dish
any
the dirt.
exclusive?
That's
Yeah,
it,
dish the dirt. Dish the
Secrets.
Dirt. Any secrets and lies? No lies, just secrets.
I know nothing.
You don't I know nothing. You've been an amazing guest. We've loved
very much.
having you on here and love chatting to you. And we're really excited about all these shows. And we can't wait. Can we get tickets? Can we get any?
www.grandtheatre.co.uk. Buy your tickets now.
Buy your tickets now. Buy your
Yeah.
tickets now.
Thanks, Carl, and thank you
Thank you.
everyone for watching and listening at home. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.